Welcome back to the Dry Fasting Club. Today we'll be talking about weight loss when it comes to dry fasting. It's no secret that a lot of people dabble in dry fasting trying to lose weight. Now, whether that's right or wrong is not what we'll be talking about today. Yes, there are safer ways to lose weight, but to pretend that dry fasting doesn't shed fat like butter wouldn't be fair to you. So we'll dive deep into how much weight you can lose while dry fasting, how to approach it safely, what to watch out for, and some science behind it. So strap yourselves in. Welcome to the Dry Fasting Club. Please remember that all fasting should be done with medical supervision. All information provided here should be viewed as informational only and should never supersede medical advice. When you are adding fasting or making lifestyle and dietary changes, please discuss with your medical professional first. Dry fasting means no food and no water. Yes, you heard that right. Where water fasting allows you to hydrate, a dry fast does not. People often think that you'll die without drinking water for 3 days. It's kind of like how people used to think the Earth was the center of the solar system. In fact, there's legitimate studies tracking people that have dry fasted for over 5 days, and many reports of people dry fasting for much, much longer. Dry fasting is 3 times stronger and 3 times faster than any other form of fasting when it comes to detoxification, health benefits, and even weight loss. But by the same logic, it's also 3 times more dangerous. With great power comes great responsibility, so don't be a dummy, learn to dry fast properly. If you want to learn more about what dry fasting is, check out my video on what is dry fasting. I'll put it in the description below. If you have a good amount of fat on you, you're in a perfect position to dry fast. In fact, fat is highly recommended to be able to produce adequate levels of metabolic water during a dry fast. Now, what is metabolic water? Well, it's the water that your body produces from the breakdown of nutrients like proteins and fats. Fats produce the most water as a byproduct of creating fatty acids and ketones. Crazy, right? Well, most people are not aware that our bodies are actually able to create perfectly clean water inside of us. If you run out of fat, you're in big trouble. So you're probably thinking, what proof is there that metabolic water actually exists and actually helps hydrate your body? There was a study performed on these birds called zebra finches. They had 3 groups. One was a control group that had access to food and water. The second one only got access to water, so they were water fasting. And the third group got no food and no water, so they were dry fasting. At the end of the study, they were able to measure the total body composition of the birds. The dry fasted birds were actually more hydrated than the water fasting birds. Isn't that wild? The hypothesis behind these results is that the body holds on to electrolytes better and burns more fat during dry fasting, which gives a hydrating boost to the body that you just don't get with water fasting. Okay, so let's flip the switch. And what about if you're very lean? In this case, you need to be aware that if you do extended fasting, you need some fat to help keep you in ketosis, limit muscle loss, and provide metabolic water. If you've got no fat on you, you're usually advised to keep fasting to shorter windows or to do your best to put on some weight before an extended fast. What about how do you know that you're in a fat burning state on your dry fast? The easiest way to know is when your breath starts to smell a little different. People call this keto breath. Some people say it tastes sweeter. Some people say it tastes a little more acetone. So that's a very useful symptom to track, but it varies from person to person. Another symptom to track is how you feel mentally. The first day or two, you can really struggle with mental focus. You feel drained and tired, but then suddenly you start to feel so good. This indicates that you have switched over to ketone use, which means you're burning fat super fast. The feeling bad stage before you get to the Superman stage is called the keto flu by many people. It's a really tough barrier to break through for most, and it's one of the main reasons people give up on their fast. But once you do break through, you start feeling on top of the world. The beauty of dry fasting is that you can get through this barrier much, much quicker than on a water fast. Now, let's talk a little about some practical tips and recommendations when you're dry fasting for weight loss. So it's important to remember that even though we are wanting to create a dehydrated state in our body, because that's where the magic of dry fasting happens, we still need to watch out not to overexert ourselves. Think of our water reserves like an underground aquifer or a spring. As the water gets pumped out, there's also a refresh rate of water coming in. If you overexert yourself too much, it's the same as overpumping the stored water too quickly. The refresh rate can't keep up. Our metabolic water in this example is the refresh rate. We have to let it keep us in a healthy yet slightly dehydrated range. So don't work out too hard on a dry fast. Take it easy and choose low impact exercises like walking and yoga instead of hard workouts and running. What about electrolytes? On a water fast, it can be important to keep up with your electrolytes because the water you're taking in keeps washing them away. On a dry fast, however, your body becomes much better at protecting your electrolytes, so there's no need to worry about taking them. Pretty convenient, right? Well, that about sums it up and covers most of the important points for dry fasting and weight loss. If you want to learn more about it, check out the detailed version. The link will be in the description below. Remember, no two people are the same, so no two fasting experiences are going to be identical. When doing big lifestyle changes, it's always important to consult with your medical professional. Dry fasting is the most powerful form of fasting, and with great power comes great responsibility. Make sure you learn about it as much as possible and take baby steps. Remember, Rome was not built in a day. Thanks for sticking around. If you've dry fasted before, have any questions or requests for future topics, please leave them in the comments below. I always check the comments for inspiration and ideas. You should also check out the Discord community where you can meet other new and experienced dry fasters. Thank you and good luck on your dry fasting journey.